about Truly Horrible.
Let's talk about the black-eyed kids. There are dozens of stories circulating, each of them separate instances, but all of them a very similar pattern. Children with completely blacked out eyes arriving at someone's home or vehicle, knocking on the door, and then insist upon being let inside. Anyone who encounters them almost immediately begins to feel an overwhelming sense of dread. Besides blacked out eyes, these children typically appear normal. Sometimes their clothing is outdated. In extremely unusual instances, people have recorded talon-like feet. Overall though, they just look like normal kids. In a way, that's what's scariest about them. While it may not be the earliest sightings of all time, the earliest reported sighting was in 1996 by Brian Bethel, a journalist from Albine, Texas. In Bethel's report, he describes a late evening out in his vehicle. He had stopped in a parking lot near a movie theater to write a check. He was so absorbed in this that he didn't notice two young boys approaching his car. He didn't notice until the older boy tapped on his driver's side window. Bethel rolled down his window and noticed immediately a soul-racking fear, though he couldn't understand why. The older boy said
that he and his brother wanted to catch a movie but had forgotten their money at home. Could Bethel give them a ride?
They assured him that it wouldn't take long. They were just two kids, and that they couldn't have a gun? What? Bethel found the assurances unnerving and noted that the last showing of the film that they wanted to see had already started and would be nearly over by the time he could drive them anywhere and get back. In his recount of the incident, he stated that when he broke eye contact with them, his fear became all-encompassing, and it wasn't until he broke eye contact that their eyes became completely blacked out. The older boy began to get frustrated when Bethel made excuses for not giving them a ride and said that they couldn't get into the car unless Bethel said it was okay. After that, Bethel tore out of the parking lot. To this day, he still stands by his story. It's easy to disbelieve Bethel's story. The internet has made growing new legends relatively easy with sites like creepypasta, subreddits, no sleep. However, Bethel's story predates these websites. It wasn't until his story became more widely known that lots of folks came forward with their own black-eyed children experiences. There's a couple stories dating back to 1974 and 1950 in other countries. They became such a popular phenomenon that a movie came out about them in 2015. Supposedly, the kids are more likely to approach people who already know about them. Keep an eye out for soulless black eyes and that feeling of dread. And if you happen to encounter one of these otherworldly children, do not let them into your home or car. Especially your car. It's kind of weird. Just don't let random children into your car. We can all agree that's freaking weird. I personally remember the story that the black-eyed children are actually originally from the Great Mortality. Children were infected with the plague, and they would go door to door, knocking on the houses and greeting the people, asking them if they could come inside, kind of begging for money and food and stuff like that. And the worst part about it was they were sick with the plague. So the children would essentially go door to door, spreading the plague to all of these unsuspecting people. And then they would turn around and say, "Oh no, I can't spare any food for you," and blah, 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 slam the door, get them out of there. And then they would obviously contract the plague from the children. They would die more quickly than the children. Then the children would be able to, go and ransack and take the money and the food and whatever they wanted. Essentially, to my knowledge, that's the first recount of black-eyed children in history. And I think that is kind of a little bit more horrifying than the supernatural version. I know that in the version that I'm talking about, it's definitely a lot less horrifying, but you never know what's out there. Obviously, don't let creepy freaking kids into your home or your car, you psychopath. Anyways, thanks for watching. This has been truly horrible. Please like and subscribe. Look at me. Look at me.